Attention ditto heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the soul of excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
Welcome, my friends, to the Wednesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. If you would like to be part of the program today, 800-848-9222 is how you do it. 800-848-9222. So much in the news, and so much of it is just kind of astounding, I guess. The tables have turned, my friends, and it is so delicious to see the arguments that are consuming Washington, D.C. Democrats. Headline today from the Washington Post, where, by the way, the most prominent writer, Ruth Marcus, according to some reports, has laid out in Atlantic why she quit. She had an editorial criticizing the boss. And, you know, the guy that's running the editorial department said, "Excuse me, no, I'm not going to publish that." And Ruth got the undies in a bunch and just decided, enough of this place, I'm done. Because she could not write her own column criticizing the owner of the newspaper, the Amazon Prime Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, and so she left. How sad. But in the Amazon Prime Washington Post this afternoon, Democrats divided on whether to shut down the government or vote with the GOP. This is delicious, my friends, because for almost longer than that, let's see, 1990, 94, 95. So since the mid-90s, that's a long time. Since the mid-1990s, Republicans have been scared to death over two words. Those words, government shutdown. Anytime there's talk about a government shutdown, the official behavior among Washington, D.C. Republicans was to tuck their tails between their collective legs and quiver in fear. Oh no, we might get blamed for a shutdown. Oh no, we can't have the poor people at Jellystone Park out of jobs, especially if it's the usual tactic that Democrats use, which is to make these shutdowns happen close to the Christmas holidays so that then they could write about how awful it was going to be. Children wouldn't have their Christmas toys. There would be no Christmas turkey on the table because evil Republicans shut down the government. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, fresh into a new term of Donald Trump. And what has happened? A Republican House of Representatives has passed a bill, narrowly, which the Senate can either choose to vote yay and send it along to Donald Trump's desk, or they can vote niet. That's Democrat Soviet language. Niet. And yes, niet. We will crush you. And send it packing, in which case the government shuts down this weekend. So the Democrats now are facing a problem. You already have government workers out of jobs. In fact, today, the Department of Education announced, this is after that big announcement near the end of the show yesterday, panic ensued. All Department of Education workers were told, leave, be out of the offices by 6, take your laptops with you, vamos, adios, skedaddle. Because we don't know, and people were panicked. This is a security matter. All around the country, what is happening? Who's sounding the alarm? What is the threat? Well, today we learned what happened. They sent them all home so that when half of them got the layoff notices, they wouldn't be in the building. Half of the entire Department of Education, half of them are now gone. Bye. Adios. Sayonara. Vamos. Gone. You're out of here. Education Department fires 1,300 workers, gutting its staff. We'll get to that. And while we're getting to that, we'll also have to touch on this Khalid Muhammad. Do you know there is more sympathy for this guy in the Democrat? They had protests today. You had people fighting police officers in the streets of New York, down by City Hall. You have had so much support for this guy. Democrats are supporting this guy, Khalil, or Muhammad Khalil. Do I have his name backwards? Let me just make sure here. It is. What's his first name? It's
Mahmoud Khalil.
Mahmoud. And please excuse me, I mean no disrespect. I read so many names during the day. I had the Khalil part right because I think about Khalil Gibran, the famous Lebanese poet whose work I love. Anyway, Mahmoud, which reminds me of Mahmoud's down on West 4th Street. Best falafels in the world. Anyway, the brain takes strange tangents, my friends. Anyway, you have Democrats, liberals, pro-Hamas people fighting in the streets for this guy. You have Democrats of all shapes and sizes coming out. How dare the administration revoke a green card? What about his freedom of speech? What about his right to speak? These people are the same people who give 0 F's, as it's called, who give 0 F's about the lives of American citizens who, especially if their lives are taken from them by illegals. They never speak up. They never march in the street when American people are assaulted, killed, raped, murdered on a regular, reoccurring basis. These same Democrats never show up. They don't have press conference. Democrats put on a big press conference. They're marching out some of the people that have been fired from their federal jobs. When's the last time the Democrats held a press conference for the average one of you or me, Americans who sometimes have been in situations where we lost our job? Ever seen Democrats hold a press conference for you when they shut your businesses down because of COVID? When they shut entire swaths of the American economy down? Did they have press conferences and drag out the people whose lives they were ruining and ask for sympathy? No. But you get this guy, this pro-Hamas protest advocate for a terrorist organization. And these people are all upset and bothered. They're holding they're out fighting in the streets to protect the rights of a non-citizen. The alleged rights of a guy who was advocating violence against Jewish Americans. Did you hear what Donald Trump called Chuck Schumer today? Oh, Rich, you got to play it. You got to play this. This is just I did not lose my place. We are going to get back to this government shutdown. You got to just Donald Trump on Chuck Schumer today.
Democrats have to get their act together. And if they don't vote, then what you're going to do is you're going to have taxes that are going to go through the roof. You're going to have a very bad time. You're going to have some very bad things happen. And people are going to blame the Democrats. And Schumer is a Palestinian, as far as I'm concerned. You know, he's become a Palestinian. He used to be Jewish. He's not Jewish anymore. He's a Palestinian. Okay.
Okay. What do you mean? Okay, so you got all that going on. That's the backdrop. And now Democrats are divided on whether to shut down the government or some of them vote with the GOP for a continuing resolution to keep the government funded until fall. Or we could have a government shutdown and we can blame it on the Democrats because it is the Democrats. Now, here's the delicious part of this. If the Democrats do what their activists are demanding, like the co-founder of the grassroots liberal group Indivisible, he says there's only one significant point of leverage the congressional Democrats have this year. It's crazy to me that Democrats would be like, yeah, let's vote for it. Have some respect for yourselves. So he's urging Democrats, vote against this thing. Let the government shut down. And I say, my friends, please let them do it. Please let them do it, because one of the things that will happen if they shut down the government right now is that all the essential government workers will still have to go to work. And what we will have right now in the middle of this reduction of size in government, we will have all the non-essential government workers in one place. Home. So please, Democrats,
do Elon's job for him.
Do Elon's job for him. Shut it down and let's identify every single government worker that is non-essential to the operation of this government. Every single one of them. It will be easy to tell. You have to do roll call every day. Who's here? Who's not? Who's essential? Who's not? So please, Democrats, go ahead. Show your TDS and shut this mama down for a few days so we know how to clear the rest of the deck. Or Elon does. It's James Golden. We rickroll you. He's rickrolling us. Rich, why are you rickrolling us today?
Oh, well, this, of course, as you know, Never Gonna Give You Up. Rick Astley started number one. 2-week run at number one this day. Huge hit when I used to DJ. People couldn't get enough of it.
I still can't get enough of this.
Great song.
You know, this song always reminded me of a jingle, but I never knew which jingle it was. It's kind of like you can sell almost anything with this. You can sell cars with it. You can sell everything.
Remember Rick Astley, the guy who was 23 but looked like he was 48.
It kind of sounded like it too.
And now he looks like he's 23. Now he is 48, and he still looks like. And now he looks 23 again.
James Golden, Snerdley with you here. Both Snerdley's Rush Hour. 800-848-9222. Don't go away.
Rush.
This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Both Snerdley.
This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video March 27th.
Are your ulcerative colitis symptoms proving difficult to manage? Tremfya guselkumab can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. At 1 year, many patients taking Tremfya achieved clinical remission, and some patients also achieved endoscopic remission. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor if Tremfya can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more, or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Your old or broken phone can let you down when you need it most. Perfect.
But at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get the most for it, up to $2,000 in value, for an amazing new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and a new line on My Plan, and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. That's like a 3-for-1. And you can get it on any plan. At Verizon, trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. The other guys won't give you that. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad. Up to $2,000 value based on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch.
Wow.
What's up?
I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
2001, on this very day, this song. Was voted the Song of the Century. It was a poll published in America. Music critics and fans compiled the list by the Recording Industry Association. The highest placed song from across the pond was actually the Stones. That came in 16th place. Believe it or not, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Beatles, 28th place. But the number one, the Song of the Century, Judy Garland. By the way, today is the birthday of her daughter, Liza Minnelli. So pretty amazing, huh? Yeah. You know what? There's a lot I can usually argue with some of these lists that are compiled. I'm like, I don't know how that one made it. When it comes to this one, I get it. Not only do I get it, I totally am with it. This is just one of the most beautiful songs ever made. Judy Garland, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. James Golden, Snerdley with you. Over the Rainbow, the Education Department. Oh, man, this is just really not doing well. Senator Jim Banks was on Fox talking about the Education Department and what happens there. Let's cut 4, Philip. Let's listen to it and cut 4. This is incredible.
I guess you could say that President Trump and Secretary Linda McMahon are dropping the people's elbow on the bureaucracy at the Federal Department of Education. And Dana, it's a long time coming, because consider that the average bureaucrat at the Federal Department of Education makes over twice as much money as teachers in Indiana do. And when you talk about the $100 billion budget for the entire department, think about the schools that you could build, the teachers you can hire. That's what President Trump is doing. He's sending these dollars back to the states so that they can spend them in a much wiser and more effective way than the federal government can. This has been a long time coming. You're right. Congress has to cement it. We should eliminate and abolish the department and make these cuts permanent and let states keep that money instead of sending it to Washington.
And the AP, I referenced the story that they wrote some days ago. They republished it and updated it. Trump is dismantling the Education Department. Here's what it does. And they say themselves that the agency's main role is financial. That's the AP. Annually, it distributes billions in federal money to colleges and schools. That's the rub. The billions going into colleges. Trust me. And also they manage the student loans. Trump has vowed to cut off federal money for schools and colleges that push CRT, critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content, and to reward states and schools that end teacher tenure and support universal school choice programs. He is upending the entire Democrat Party infrastructure on their monopoly over failing schools and schools whose sole mission is to indoctrinate students from grade school through university in liberal ideology. And that's where all of the complaints are really coming from. This whole student loan scam that is also run by the Department of Education deserves serious review. Okay, my friends, here's what we're going to do. Your calls are coming up. We did not talk yet about Mr. Mahmoud. We'll do all of that. Keep it right here. Don't go away.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush. Maybe America needs to fall. Maybe it needs to crumble and fall apart at the seams because it was built on patriarchy and religion. Maybe we need to start over, hit the reboot button, and not make it great again because it was never great to begin with. Building a country on the backs of slaves is not great. It's not great. Let's not go backwards. Let's just redo it all. Maybe falling apart is what it needs to happen. And we're not going to build it on the patriarchy or religion this time. But we build it on love and acceptance of all. Maybe we're watching history happen and it's going to work out for the good in the end. For all of us. And not just the rich. Maybe.
I guarantee you, likely a public school young lady. James Taylor brings us back, American singer-songwriter, former husband of Carly Simon, who was born on this day in 1948. Always loved James. He's a flaming liberal, but I don't care. I love his music, and many of you do too. Well, I don't know whether he's flaming, but he has said some things that just let you know whose camp he's in. But he's also in the camp of being a great musician. So, my friends, we have news. If I were on the internet right now, typing in, I'd be sitting around in my pajamas and my underwear or something, sitting in, typing in, breaking news, breaking, like I'm like the world's because I read it somewhere else. But anyway, breaking, friends, we are breaking here. Chuck Schumer has announced, the guy that you heard Donald Trump call a Palestinian just a little while ago, Chuck U. Schumer has announced that he is going to Chuck U. America. He's going to do it. He said, Chuck U. Schumer has said, it's in Bloomberg, that Democrats are going to block the Republican plan to avert a shutdown. They're not going to sign it. We're gonna have a shutdown. We're gonna have a shutdown. And this time, the shutdown is gonna be Democrat Party fault. It is 100% Democrats being, I guess, Mr. and Mrs. Tough Guy. They want to take on Trump. They want to take on the Republicans. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We just got news today. Carolyn Levitt, let it be known. We have the sound bites. The economy's going gangbusters already. Inflation is down. That's number one. Let's just let everybody hear it. Here we go. Caroline.
This administration is wholeheartedly focused every single day on driving down costs for the American people through massive deregulatory efforts and, of course, by unleashing American energy dominance, which we know will end the inflation nightmare created by the previous administration. And this CPI report today is welcome news, and it's not what the so-called experts or the mainstream media predicted. They continue to cast doubt on President Trump and his economic agenda, even though He has a proven record of it working in his first term. And if you look at that report today, inflation has gone down. The core inflation index is actually the lowest it's been in 4 years. Gas prices have fallen. Airline fares have fallen. And also today, we saw two massive companies announce new investments in manufacturing in the United States of America. The Japanese beer company Asahi announced new manufacturing, new jobs in Wisconsin. All of these companies are realizing that the United States of America is the best place to do business, the lowest taxes in the world. That's what they will have under this president.
And with all that good news, what are the Democrats trying to do right now? They want to sabotage it. They want to sabotage the economy. They want to show Trump that how dare he try to save the American taxpayers' money? How dare he look at the way that they've been mismanaging money and running their own get-rich corruption scams with your taxpayer dollars? Oh, no. Democrats are demanding that we are not going to help those Republicans do anything. So the Democrats are now going to self-identify all of the non-essential government workers and tell them to stay home. We're going to have a shutdown. We're going to shut this damn government down because Democrats are having a temper tantrum. They hate Trump, and they know that deep down inside, many of their voters hate Trump just as much as they do. And they want to show everybody how much they hate him, so they're going to shut down the government. Yes, my friends, Democrats are going to be mean-spirited, anti-government obstructionists. They're going to take the mantle from what used to be the Republican mantle anytime there was talk of a shutdown. The Democrats are going to be the ones to throw those poor people that work at Jellystone Park that didn't lose their jobs already. The Democrats going to make sure they're out of work. The Democrats going to make sure that the government doesn't really need to show up, will show up. They're going to let them go home where they've been before Trump came in and made them go back to the office. Go back home and do your leisure. At this time, you don't even have to pretend to work. Just go home and relax. We're going to shut the mother down. We're going to shut it down. That's what Democrats are doing. And yes, my friends, I'm in favor. Republicans, this is your moment now to stand tall. Do not negotiate with these people. Don't negotiate with these terrorist supporting. And I say that because of what's happening in New York. Demonstrations in the street to support a Hamas advocate who openly was in charge of trying the disruptions at Columbia University. By the way, stream of consciousness, did you know, funny little fact about Columbia University, Cut 7, Philip, I just learned this today. Oh, I had no idea. Maybe you didn't either.
Over half of Columbia's enrollment is foreign students, and they're the ones, of course, who pay full tuition. Yeah. And so of the general studies student population. And that raises two questions. One, why is the American taxpayer, the Free Press reported that, $400 million in federal grants have been yanked. Why are American taxpayers paying to educate people who aren't Americans? And two, it raises this question about immigration and which way the cultural exchange is going.
Mm-hmm. So the other day, 2 days ago, I do believe, right? This is Wednesday?
Half.
So I think on Monday,
half of the students at Columbia, half of them are foreign students. And they were out in the streets. You had these students attacking and trying to scare to death, and horrible things being said to American Jewish students. And we learned that half of the population of this Ivy League school are coming from other countries. What gives? But anyway, back to the Democrats. They're going to have a shutdown. Oh, my friends, this is going to be worth it. Now, if any of you know people that are going to be affected by it, what we need to do, homework, please. Please get them to post their stories. Please, how hurtful this is to them. Please let them post it all over social media so that you can repost it. For instance, if you happen to know somebody that's part of the shutdown crowd and they're out of work, and they're petrified that by being out of work, they may be identified as not needed, and maybe Doge is going to look at them harder. Have them say, you know what you ought to do? You ought to post that on social media. And then let's get all the sob stories. And let's make sure they mention Chuck Schumer, then the Democrats. Why did you do this to us? That's what has to happen here. We need to see that. And Republicans, you better hold your spine here. Do not negotiate with these people. Don't water down your bill. Don't change your bill one bit. You voted on that bill. It passed. Let this thing drag on. If it has to drag on for the rest of the year, let it drag on. You come back, and when they start saying, well, we're trying to force, they are trying to force their way out of a democracy. You won the election. You have the right, because you won the election in the House of Representatives and the Senate, you have the right to set the budget tones, right? These people are trying to destroy a fragile democracy. After all, democracy dies in darkness. So what needs to happen here is you need to stand up and tell America you are standing up for democracy. The Democrats are trying to have an insurrection against the will of the American people. They are trying to vote American voters out, to disenfranchise the votes of Americans by insisting their will be done. Their will, the Democrat Party, not the voters, not your elected representatives. So these mean-spirited anti-government obstructionists are trying to force our democracy to be compromised. And Republicans, you had better say no. Say no to the Democrats. And just every time they say, we want to talk, we want something different. Nope, sorry, we passed the bill. Make this the longest shutdown in government history. Make it the longest shutdown ever, if that's what Democrats are demanding. Philip, let's take a break here so we have plenty of time for calls on the other side. I do want to mention a few things. First, this. Cloud 9. I don't know whether you've ever really listened to the lyrics of this song. I was in intermediate school when this song came out. The teachers were having a fit because they're like, how in the world are you people playing? Because we, in school, talking about music all the time. This song is pro-drugs. It is glorifying drugs. And you know what? Yes, it is. But it won a Grammy. It was the first time Motown had a Grammy from any of their artists on this song. 1969. This is the first record that Dennis Edwards took over as the lead. They had kicked David Ruffin out of the group. Put this guy, Dennis Edwards, the lead singer, in. Yes. It ain't even safe no more to walk the streets at night. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine on Cloud 9. Let me tell you about it. It's lovely. You ain't got responsibility. Every man is free. You're a million miles from reality. Yeah, that sounds pretty pro-drug to me. Up and away. Also, on this day, I don't want to let this escape. It's Marlon Jackson's birthday. I don't know whether we'll have time to play any Jackson. Marlon was the choreographer for the Jacksons. It is the birthday of Al Jarreau. Maybe we'll have time to play something from Al Jarreau. Al Jarreau, one of the most outstanding American artists of the century. It is also the anniversary of the death of an American icon, who I know we don't have much in the library. That would be Charlie Parker. The one, the only Charlie Parker, the Bird. Charlie Parker passed away at 34. The coroners thought he was somewhere between the ages of 50 and 60 when they did his autopsy because of the condition of his body. Why? Drugs and alcohol. James Golden, Snerdley, your call is coming up. Keep you right here. Don't go away.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Oh, Snerdley.
It's the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
Rush.
Now, here's James Golden.
Oh, my gosh. Dang on, Philip. This is one of my favorites. Yeah, this is from the Fly album. And it's Al Jarreau. Fly. Just incredible musician, vocalist. Of course, his biggest hit was We're in This Love Together. But he's just was an amazing singer. He's one of those singers, it's very rare you have vocalists where other great artists write songs in tribute to you while you're still alive. Brenda Russell wrote a song and performed it, like Going to See Jarreau. He was an inspiration for so many people. Al Jarreau. Time to head to the telephones. Jacqueline in Brooklyn, New York. We'll start with you this afternoon. How are you, Jacqueline?
Hello, James. I'm doing very well, and I hope you are also.
I am.
Can I say something really quickly about the Department of Education? That's not what I called about, but can I say something really quickly? Okay.
Please do.
One of your colleagues who's on sabbatical as he runs for mayor in NYC refers to it as the dumbest organization ever. And these are my words. I'm paraphrasing what President Trump stated. He is getting rid of the dead wood, the non-performers, and the do-nothing duds. But the reason that I called is you introduced a topic regarding the transgender man the other day who was putting out this garbage, this vile rant about God and his B-effing D and how he's getting effed in the arse by God. I want to know, why aren't the Republicans and the conservatives up in arms? Why aren't they protesting and speaking out against this individual from the Bernie Sanders rally?
Bernie Sanders thanked him afterwards. Thanked him.
That goes to show
for that
how crazy
vile,
they are.
blasphemous, horrific performance.
Yep. First of all, as a man pretending to be a woman, I don't mean to be crude, but he should be used to getting effed in the arse by other men and liking it.
Stop. We don't need to go there, darling. The song was enough imagery for many of us, my dear. As to why the Republicans are not speaking about it, your guess is as good as mine. But then again, they're busy. They've got a lot that they have to defend these days. But, Jacqueline, this thing was one of the most wretched pieces of music I've ever heard in my life.
I wouldn't even call it music. And maybe if he and others like him were God-fearing, they wouldn't be so hateful and vile towards others who are God-fearing.
Well, thank you, my dear. Let's see. Let us go to Judith. Next, Judith has been holding quite a bit. How are you, Judith? Time is running out. Wanted to grab you in here.
Thank you so much, James. I want to ask you what you think about this. Found out that these terrorist cartels they've had 149 tunnels smuggling whomever and whatever, and Congress just now voted to shut them all down, all these tunnels, except one congresswoman voted
except
against.
Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah, and why would she do that to leave the tunnels open for terrorists to use? I'd like to know. Tell me.
There's a simple reason that Rashida Tlaib would not vote to close the tunnels. What is the principal mechanism that Hamas uses in their war against Israel? Tunnels. They're tunnels. She does not want to go on record, is my guess, and I don't know for sure. She does not want to go on record as being anti-tunnel because she's afraid that people would draw the comparison. That's my guess. Anyway, Eric, you've just got a few seconds before we have to depart.
I just think it's about tariffs, how convenient everyone forgets that Barack Obama ran on what President Trump is doing, and he never did it. He threw it under the bus.
Wow.
That's the only reason I voted for Barack Obama, because he was going to bring back fair trade, and he's going to fix all these bum trade deals, like NAFTA and CAFTA and GATT, and bring back tariffs.
And he never did it.
And he never did it.
Well, we got to go.
We
got to go, my friend. May God bless and protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, as always, for your being here with me and allowing me to be with you. God willing, we are back tomorrow for the Thursday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Until then, my friends, let me be the first to bid you adieu. Bye.